if you have the ability to have anybody else shooting for you, or later in your career when you have somebody shooting for you, it's also really important to cast your camera person. Find a camera person who shares your respect for your characters and who you trust. So Chris, who shot the majority of Gideon's Army, and we didn't have any money, so you'll see the shooting gets better as we go on, but the thing that Chris completely 1000% has over so many other camera people I've met is he's a lovely person. He is interested in people, he is respectful of people, and they feel that and they know that. So I would send Chris, I live here, Chris lives in Alabama, and Travis lived in Georgia. I would say go spend the weekend with Travis. Like, just spend the weekend with him. Bring your camera. If you guys can shoot, great. If you can't, I don't care. Like, just go spend the weekend with Travis. And as a result, they got to be pretty close. And so a lot of what you see where Travis is talking about stuff, he's talking to Chris. He's not talking for the film. So when he's talking about his girlfriend, he's like, I don't know. You know, it's like a dude thing, right? In a way that when he would talk to me, he would try to be justifying his like ratchet behavior. But with Chris, it was like, you know, what do you think? And also, so casting your camera person, the person could be technically excellent, but if they're a mean person, no one's going to open up to them or with them. Another thing that was really critical when Brandy was talking about how one of her clients might kill her. So that was one of the first things we shot. It was like in our second shoot. And we were in a Holiday Inn in Georgia. And we had, we didn't have any money for a lighting setup. So we had, he took the light bulb, the shade off the light in the room. And he had these 2 clothespins and a sheet. And then, but he kind of made it so it was like a confessional. So I was sitting here, Chris was sitting there, Brandy was sitting there, and Chris was behind us, and then he made the room really dark. And so it was very funny when we first went to, the way I sold this to HBO is I showed them 20 minutes of the best footage I had. And we didn't have a rough cut or anything, we just had these character reels. And so one of the things I showed was Brandy, and she goes, well, anybody could be moved when you have these like lighting setups. And I was like, ha ha ha! Like it was a light bulb and a clothespin. But what Chris did, and this really is, you know, when you get the chance to work with people who fit the job. I use different people for sit-down, set-up, corporate interviews than for verite in the field running after people or for very emotional stuff. Chris scraped the emotional stuff because he gets sad too, but he stays in the moment. So Brandy starts talking about this, and it became very confessional. We both forgot about him. And she's just talking to me, and the thing that I will forever be grateful is she starts to cry. So remember, he knows this is one of my first shoots, you know, it's like shoot number 5 of my life. And she starts to cry, and he does like this to me, which was, don't fuck it up. Do not ask her a question. Do not talk right now. Let her talk. Just be quiet and let her talk. And sometimes you have an unnatural pause when you're with so just remember, no one knows about that unnatural pause but you and your person. And what's the normal human thing to do? People fill silence. And sometimes they'll fill silence with amazing stuff because they feel for you. They're like she's like, my client was gonna kill me. And I was like, she goes, so I thought, what's wrong with me? I wouldn't have known to ask her that. She filled in what she wanted to say, and it's nothing I could know to ask her. So sometimes knowing when to be quiet is really, really important.